For something as predictable as clockwork, the Milky Way can also be super elusive. You've got moon phase, weather, location, and my least favorite, light pollution. You have your gear, like your camera, your intervalometers, your sliders, batteries. Everything can malfunction on you. And you have another factor. Yourself. I think it had been our third trip north in the summer. We had taken so many trips in 2024. I was kind of trying to prepare for a trip to Chile. So we reserved a one night at the state park, and we were going to capture some astro.
Stop you. We did reserve. That's enough. Might have to chalk them wheels so we don't get rolled over. The tent's like right down there. Seems like a Indiana Jones trap waiting to happen.
We unloaded the car, set up the tent, and I ended up breaking my slider. So, without tools, I had to fix it in the field.
So I think I know how it works, but I happen to have something too small and then go straight to something too large for the hex key on this, so I'm gonna have to just do it by hand and hope it gives me what I need.
The Syrup Genie lineup has been discontinued after being purchased by Manfrotto. I'm not aware of the Syrup Lab team working on any more hardware or software, but I'd be interested in supporting future efforts. I actually think it'd be cool to work for them.
All right, well, got the slider fixed, packed up, our warm extra clothes in the car, so now we should have everything we need for a night of shooting in this metal cage. We're gonna head out now. It's like 5:30, so I'm doing pretty good. Are you excited?
I am. We're gonna chase the Milky Way.
We explored the lake to find placement for my Syrup motion time-lapse slider, my A7S for a stationary time-lapse, and a star tracker to shoot a Milky Way panorama image.
So, Milky Way is going to be like over there and kind of move across the sky to the right. So to avoid, I want to have as much water underneath it the whole time. So I'm thinking between those two trees, some kind of pine trees going by, will be a great spot to set up the slider. My inspiration here is we have some sort of grassy reeds here in the foreground coming out of the water. If I could set up the slider somewhere around this height, then we could use that as our kind of foreground parallax, but still be high enough to have the surface of the water and then the Milky Way. But I am a little worried about the tree limbs.
So in practice, this one was a little different. The foreground is just so dark at night. You couldn't see much of the reeds or even the water and some of the plants in front. They're very dark. So I think it's important to use a camera that has good low light sensitivity, can recover shadows, and to get your settings right. Here I'm using a Canon 6D first gen unmodified at the 14mm 1.8.
All right, I think we figured it out. I'm gonna shoot a 20mm stationary time lapse from like the bench. You've got a nice area where the water meets, the scene, very low and close to the bottom. So hopefully you'll get a good rotation of the Milky Way kind of going up and see it in the water. And that's two cameras. I don't know, I've got two more to go. One more track, well, two trackers.
I didn't end up getting around to setting up the other cameras for any more time lapses. I only used my Star Adventure and my modified Canon 6D to get a tracked, stitched panorama of the Milky Way. When we got up the next morning, I went to the lake, and there was this nice layer of fog all over the whole thing. Just like glass and just fog twirling. It's crazy. Probably missed out on an opportunity to time-lapse that. Would have been really cool.
This fog looks really awesome. Should time lapse that. Oh, that would be pretty neat. It's nice out. Man, I did not get much sleep, so probably go home or go back to the campsite and take a nap after this. But I hope the time lapse turned out okay. I didn't even think of rain being a possibility. But glad it didn't rain, and now it's pretty clear. So I have hope that the tail end of the time lapse hopefully looks good. Well, everything's still on. Yeah, this unit hasn't lost much battery at all. It looks basically the way I left it, which is impressive. This still has 3 out of 4 bars. We have some condensation. It's right up against the ground, so that's probably where it condensed from. Alright. I'm excited to see the results.
The results were a bit disappointing. I didn't change my ISO and my settings enough as the sun was setting, so I ended up crushing a lot of my signal into the noise floor, and that shows where I recovered it. But the night portion of the time lapse is good. You can really see that effect where noise appears right before it gets really dark in 2 distinct places. The foreground, like I said, is extremely dark, so I need to find a way to get more detail out of that. The Sony a7S fared much better here, being more ISO invariant, but again, the detail in the foreground is so dark here in this park. Still, I was able to capture a cool time lapse of the Andromeda Galaxy and our Milky Way rising up over the lake. Here's the panorama I shot. It ended up being 86 megapixels. I used a Canon 6D with the H alpha mod and a 24mm lens set to f2.8. I hope you've enjoyed this journey. Subscribe for more. I've got a lot more videos on my backlog and future trips, and you don't want to miss it because this summer we're returning to the Atacama Desert.